Hello, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to 2023. By now, I'm sure you have had your reflections about last year. And some of the things that I expect that you would have done by now is to think about the areas that you did very well. And can I ask you a question? Why do you think you did so well in those areas? In the same vein, what do you think that you didn't do so well last year? You also need to try to figure out why you didn't do well or you didn't do so well in those areas. And why is this important? Because the answers that come out of these reflection sessions will determine how you engage this year. And by all means, this is January. It's still a good time to hit the ground running. But I want to give you 5 tips that are very important if you want to achieve that precious thing that is in your heart with regards to 2023. And it's not something that you haven't heard before. But before I delve in, let me give you a scripture that we ended with, and it's Habakkuk 2 and verse 2. That's what we ended with in December. And what does it say? The Bible says that write the vision, make it plain upon tables, that he may run that reads it. You see, this verse is packed with wisdom, and any man who dares to implement this singular verse of scripture, you will achieve everything that you need in life. What is that place really talking about? It's talking about goal setting. And by now, and I'm sure you know that a goal is different from a wish. A wish is, oh, I wish I have a private jet. That's a wish. And you know what they say about wishes? If there were horses, even the beggars would ride. So, but what differentiates a wish from a vision or a goal is time boundaries. So if I say that I want to own a private jet by the end of 2024, now that becomes a goal because there is a time allocated to the achievement of that wish. Okay? So, but every goal you want to set this year, it must have certain characteristics. And I'm sure you've heard about it, and that is that every goal needs to be SMART. It needs to be SMART. What are we talking about? S, it needs to be specific. Don't go about trying to achieve too many things and everything this year. You will end up dividing your focus and scattering them here and there. And the Bible said that if your eyes be single, your whole body will be full of light. And that's why your goal needs to be specific this year. So it can be 1, 2, or 3 important things that you want to achieve this year. So let your goal be specific. Number 2 is M. It needs to be measurable. It has to be something that you can be able to measure, something you should be able to measure your progress. So if I set out this year to end up with a bank balance of 100 million, I should be able to measure after January, how much have I made? After February, how much have I made? And so on and so forth. So while you're thinking about that vision in your heart, I need you to start imagining how you can measure your success and your failures. Now, if you're not able to measure it, what you will have is a situation where you don't know whether you're making progress or you're stagnant. So your goal needs to be measurable. Number 3 is A. It needs to be achievable. So it's nonsensical, so to speak, if I wish that this, or if I set a goal this year that I want to go build a house on top of a tree and move my entire family and my kindred on top of a tree. That doesn't make sense, right? It's not achievable because even if I succeed in building mansions on top of a tree, there is no guarantee that my village will want to go live on top of a tree because they are not birds. Okay, so that goal in your heart, make sure it's something that is achievable. Why is that important? If it's not achievable, you end up boring yourself and wearying yourself for nothing. So if, for instance, in my village, there are no airports, and I set out this year to go set up an aircraft spare parts shop in my village, you know that already I have started failing because it's not achievable. There are no aircrafts coming to land in my village. Well, unless if you build an airport for us today, we won't say no. But let your goals be achievable. The next thing is R. It needs to be relevant, right? Don't go setting targets and goals and visions that are not relevant to where you're going or where you want to see yourself in the future. It's very important. And finally, it needs to be time bound. So these are some of the things you need to look out. And if you can just sit down, draw up the things you want to achieve this year, and then it will lead you instantly to what we call strategy session. And it is in the strategy session that you start seeing how to achieve this. And I'm going to dwell a little bit on strategy sessions in our next video so that I can walk you through some of the things you need to look out for in planning to be great in 2023. And I hope you stay tuned. I'll see you in the next video.
I need leadership and man. I need leadership and